keeping up with the motto, let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure. Here we are with the remote teaching and learning process to bridge the gap. Happy learning, students. TVM welcomes all the students of class 10 for this English learning session. Today we will start with poem. Before that, let's talk about laughter. We all know that laughter is the best medicine as it helps to treat insomnia, improves immunity, enhances creativity and problem solving skills, improves heart health, boosts memory, and also helps in treating depression and anxiety. So, it is indeed the best medicine, laughter. But then, we also should know that excess of anything can be fatal. So we should laugh as much as we are needed to. So the poem we are going to start is related to laughter and also the effect of too much of laughter. 4.4 The height of the ridiculous. Poem has been written by the poet Oliver Wendell Holmes, born on August 29, 1809. He was an American physician, poet, and polymath based in Boston. Oliver Wendell Holmes. So we start with page number 171, The Height of the Ridiculous. In the first stanza, the poet mentions that he wrote few lines once upon a time, that is a long time ago. And what mood did he write those lines in? He was in a wondrous mood, that is, in a delightful and merry, which again means the same. Delightful mood, and naturally he wrote those lines, and we can guess those lines must be humorous. And he thought, that is, he expected that men, reader, as usual, would praise his writing or those lines, saying that they were exceeding good, that is, they were excellent. So, this is about the lines that he wrote, and he was very happy about those lines that he wrote. And then in the second stanza, we come to know about those lines through the poet himself, that those lines were so queer. And he repeats those lines were so very queer. That is, we can guess how strange those lines were written by the poet. That is why he has repeated the word queer, which means strange. And we can see there is repetition figure of speech. And what was the effect of those strange lines on the poet? He laughed. And how much did he laugh? He laughed as as much as he started to feel he would die. Now it was not actually so. He was not going to die of laughter, but then what does it mean that he laughed really badly? So the poet has exaggerated the, we can say, uh, here, exaggerated with the words, with the word die. He actually laughed really badly, and we can know the intensity of his laughter, that is why exaggerated. And then he makes a confession about himself that he is a sober man, that is, he is a sensible man. Then too he laughed. And And because he laughed, being even after being a sober man, he laughed so much we can guess the uh, how humorous those lines must be. There is a word in the third line of the second stanza of it. It is an archaic word, no more used now, that is used to be used in Old English writing. Is an Old English word and it means same as though, that is despite the fact. So despite which fact is talking about? Him being a sober man, and then too he laughed really badly. And then he called his servant. The servant comes, and now he is praising the servant of him being so kind to him. So, what's the reason that he is praising his servant and telling that he is really kind? Now, the reason is the servant being a strong personality, that is in the last line of the third stanza it is mentioned, he of the might limb, the servant. And being a strong personality, the servant is taking care of his master, that is the poet, who is a slender man, that is a thin man. And that is the reason the poet refers to him as a kind person, or says that it is so kind of him. The fourth stanza, the poet asks the servant to take the papers to the printer, those writing those lines to the printer, so that maybe he could print. And the poet added in his humorous way, and whatever he added, it was said or used as a trifling jest, that is, insignificant joke. It was not serious at all. And what did he say? What was that trifling jest? He said, the servant, that as he was taking those papers to the printer, he will be in a lot of trouble. That is, he will have the devil to pay. Devil to pay, it means a lot of trouble. Now we'll see the poetic devices. Tautology in the first Tautology, the first figure of speech in the line in wondrous merry mood. As we already know, both the words wondrous and merry have the same meaning and they have been used in the same line to create an effect. Repetition, that is the words queer in the in the line, they were so queer, so very queer, repeated, and it has been done for emphasis, that is repetition, figure of speech. Hyperbole in the line, I laughed as I would die. It is an exaggeration made for a better poetic effect, as it has already been explained that the poet actually was not going to die, he really laughed badly. Inversion, the next figure of speech in the line, a sober man am I. The words are not in correct grammatical order and have been jumbled for a better poetic effect. And the order would be I am a sober man. And simile, to mind a slender man like me. There is a direct comparison between slender man and poet. And the rhyme scheme of the poem, that is the stanzas, is A, B, C, B. You can take the screenshot of the poetic devices, students. Now page number 171 and 172. So the first stanza of the page, as we already know, the poet had asked the servant to take the paper to the printer, and he followed the same. He took the paper, and as he took the paper, the poet watched him. And what did he see? He saw him peeping within, that is the paper. And why did the poet look at him? To see the reactions So, what happened after the servant read the first line? His face was all upon the grin. It means that the poet could see a broad smile on the servant's face. And after he read the next line, that grin, that is the broad smile, it grew broad. So the servant already had a broad smile on his face as he read the first line. After reading the second, the broad smile grew even broader. And how broad did it get? It shot from ear to ear. Now, figures of speech in this line. The poet wants to show the intensity of the laughter. That is why he has made exaggeration in this line, saying that the smile or the grin it shot from ear to ear, so that the readers come to know that he laughed really badly, or the smile grew broader and the intensity of the laughter increased. And also, the word here has been repeated in the same line, so repetition. After he read the third line, the poet could hear a chuckling noise. Chuckling is the word which conveys the sound of chuckling, chuckle, that is a quiet laugh. Onomatopoeia, figure of speech. So the grin converted into a chuckling as the servant read the third line. After the fourth line, he broke into a roar. The laughter, it seemed like a roar. So that was the intensity it reached to after the servant had read the fourth line. Now, in this line, he broke into a roar. Broke and roar, two words have been used in this line to convey the sound of roar, or we can say the sound of laughter. So, again, onomatopoeia. After reading the fifth line, what happened? The waistband split, that is, the servant's belt broke. So much he laughed, and the intensity kept increasing, that is, of laughter. So, actually, it did not, we can say the belt did not break, but we can imagine how badly he started to laugh, or the intensity of the laughter after reading the fifth line. The sixth line, he burst five buttons. And then, when he finished reading the sixth line, five buttons of his attire broke. So, again, the intensity is increasing of laughter line by line, and eventually he tumbled in a fit. That is, tumbled, he collapsed or fallen in a fit, that is frenzy or a wild emotion. So what was that emotion? That was emotion of laughter. So he fell into the fit of laughter. He was laughing so much. We can see in the picture also. So he could not help laughing. He now see the effect. What was the effect of this laughter that kept on increasing line by line, that eventually broke the five buttons of his shirt and sent him to a fit of uh, frenzy, a kind of laughter. So, 10 days and nights with sleepless eye, the poet is explaining the condition of the servant as he observed the servant for 10 days and nights. And what was his condition? He was with his sleepless eye. He could not sleep because of the laughter, or because of the effect of reading those humorous lines written by the poet. Now, in this line, sleepless eye, eye is said to be sleepless. So, who was actually sleepless? The servant. The servant is the whole, eye is a part of the whole, that is servant. So, here The part I represents the whole, that is poet. That is why the figure of speech will be synecdoche. I watched that wretched man. The servant is said to be as wretched man, that is miserable person, helpless, unhappy. Now, it is a metaphorical term used for the servant, so figure of speech can be metaphor. The poet saying that he watched the servant as how helpless he became, how miserable his condition was, and since that time the poet decided not to dare to write as funny as he could. Seeing the effect of the laughter that was a result of the humorous lines written by the poet decides not to write such humorous lines again. Poetic devices. Enchantment is it is continuing the lines. At the first line he read his face. At the first line he read his face, and then the continuation in the next line, and that becomes a sentence, was all upon the grin, and that is why it is enchantment, continuing a line after the line breaks, done for effect. Alliteration. In the line the grin grew broad, initial G sound is repeated. Repetition in the line and short from year to year, that is already discussed. Explanation, there is a question mark, so students, you have to write on your own what can be the explanation for repetition here. Next is onomatopoeia, chuckling noise, and also in the line he broke into a roar, that is already explained. So here in the first line chuckling and the next line broke and roar are the words conveying the sound, and that is how onomatopoeia. Hyperbole, waistband split and burst 5 buttons, exaggeration. Antithesis, days and nights are opposite, and synecdoche with sleepless eye. That is, the part represents the whole. It can also be the other way. You can take the screenshot of this page, poetic devices of the poem, The Height of the Ridiculous. Appreciation. Points to be covered in paragraph format. Students, keep in mind appreciation has to be written only in a paragraph, that is one paragraph. And the points are: first, the title. The title is written at the center of the page, which has to be underlined with one strike of pen, or better if it is done by pencil. And then you have to leave one line to start the paragraph. Then the poet, and it all will be included in the paragraph from the poet. Rhyme scheme, figures of speech, and central idea that has to be written in minimum 4 sentences. The Height of the Ridiculous, that is the title, and this is the appreciation. The points are highlighted, or we can say in various colors for you to understand. You can take the screenshot of this page, that is the appreciation of the poem The Height of the Ridiculous. You can add more figure of speech from your own side if you wish to. One is already there in this appreciation. So students, we have come to an end of this session, and what we have learned through the poem, that excessive of anything can be fatal. So everything in excess is opposed to nature. So be careful with whatever you do. Thanks a bunch. Students, take care.